Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to 3Y TV. And tonight it is round 6 of the OSCA Xfinity season. And again, tonight we go to Bathurst, down under in Australia, here for the Mr. Bushy 128. Here for the OSCA Xfinity series. Almost said truck series there. And tonight with me, I have a special guest here, Ben Brost. And Ben, you know, you've been announcing many years in short tracks around Wisconsin, and you know, this might be a little different being in Australia and doing virtual race cars this time.
You know, it's funny. I've followed a couple of dirt late model guys from down under. I've called all sorts of unique events throughout my now 25-year career. This is the first race that I've called this season here in 2022, kicking off my 25th anniversary on the microphone with the legend himself, Mike Goodman. I could not be more excited. What an opportunity here. And my first ever iRace. So sitting here in my living room calling a race that is taking place in Australia with drivers from all over the place. This is awesome, man. I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one here tonight, and we even do have the hometown kid, Brent Jones, the land shark, but, you know, I'm a little disappointed, Ben, you didn't get to see this. Normally every week he has the shark teeth on the front of his car, but tonight he's actually paying homage to a Aussie V8 supercar driver. I believe it was a 1995 scheme of Larry Perkins, and currently he is second on the speed charts right now. So again, he's won here in OSCA, passed at Rockingham in the trucks season ago, looking to get win number 2 tonight. And now practice is completed. Last week's winner did sweep both halves. Nick Indelcato, he was leading the leaderboard at the end of practice. And we're getting ready for qualifying here. So we have, I think, 8 minutes for these guys to get their laps in. And the laps take around 2 minutes 12 seconds, 2 minutes and 20 seconds for some of these drivers to get around the track. So you got to get out and go right away. You see Damian Leininger. He's got his Bat Flip podcast car going. And hey, Ben, are you excited? Baseball's going to be back now.
Yeah!
I was a little worried there for a minute.
Lockout ended?
Lockout ended. They I think just today came to terms.
I've been, yeah. I tell you what, it's not summer, at least here in Wisconsin. It's not summer unless you're outside somewhere listening to the great Bob Uecker call a Brewer game. And so Mr. Baseball on the microphone outside enjoying a beer at the grill or whatever. Doesn't matter. It's I'm excited. The snow's melting. It's getting hot out here. This is really cool. Goody. I want this stuff when we call a race, like a live race that's right in front of me. This is right in front of me, but I want all of these tools to be able to talk about what's happening. And we kind of do have them with my race pass and a couple other things. But Mike, I had an iRacing setup for a little while, and I got to be honest with you, I did not expect it to be at the difficulty level of which it is. And so these guys, it is, I had to explain it to people that this is not just a simulation, or it's not just a game. This is an actual simulator. And, people practice, like, professional race car drivers. This is how they keep their skills sharp, by competing in these type of events. So if you have listening or watching out there at home, these guys are actually, they are on the wheel. I'm telling you, when I drove, you can feel the car, feel what it's doing. You're thinking you can come into a corner a little too hard or something like that, and boom, all of a sudden you're in the wall. And as always, qualifying, this is where the race starts, right here. You've got to be able to, and that car, speaking of that number 3.
03 of Dylan Jones going off track a little bit.
So yeah, it's quite, it's quite realistic. It's quite real. Yeah, this is, and also on top of that, it's a road course. Guys in my line of work, we only know how to turn left. That's why we always have to cross traffic, and it takes us 15 minutes extra to get to places because we only know how to turn left. But these guys, so it's all about balance too. These cars have to be balanced. So now you're running, and Goody, talk to me a little bit about the setup that goes into these cars.
Well, this is, I know, a custom setup here tonight, because usually iRacing has setups for each track, but obviously NASCAR doesn't go to Bathurst, at least not anytime soon, I don't think. So it was a custom setup made. Don't know quite the story behind that here tonight, but I know getting the balance down is key, and especially with these elevation changes here on the track, especially where you see Monticelli right now, kind of going through those corkscrews, going uphill, you go down, and then immediately downhill. So again, that balance, especially keeping all four tires off the ground. I was watching my buddy Dustin Dewar take some of his first laps on this track here in practice tonight, and that's some of the biggest discipline is trying to go as fast as you can, but also keep all four wheels off the ground when you go through some of these elevation changes. And I think a lot of these guys are going to struggle with that here tonight. And sometimes in some parts of these tracks, or parts of this track, slower is better. And
sometimes you got to slow down to go faster.
Yeah, and Isabella kind of slowing down through these corkscrews right now. You see him getting through really smoothly.
How about Monticelli in the three-pedal Mafia? Three-pedal Mafia Toyota number 72. I just love the name Three-pedal Mafia. That is awesome.
27.
Yeah, it's 27 for Monticelli. And
sorry.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, my bad. I said Aaron Lineman in the Three-pedal Mafia.
Oh, yep. That's Aaron Lineman.
Forgive me, Goody. It's my first time. Be gentle.
No. Hey, I get yelled at by Carlos on a weekly basis.
Hey, don't spill the beans.
Yeah, do not spill the beans. We don't want to see Kevin from The Office. He has a meme. He spills the beans. Breaks my heart every time. All the work Kevin put in for that chili.
Not hitting it right now.
Yeah, speaking of elevation changes, we just saw, one of the cars right there at the start-finish line. You're going downhill right there, so not only you're picking up speed as you're coming downhill, but you have a lot of downforce and different things that play into that. And now you have to come in and negotiate a corner, so you've got aerodynamics, downforce, tire pressure, and I'm not talking about the amount of air that's in the tires. I'm talking about the amount of air pressure that is coming down onto those tires by way of downforce. You're contending with all that behind the wheel of these cars. It's a lot to handle. You think about the old NASCAR days. There's a reason why Boris said was not real good on the oval tracks, but he was a ringer for Watkins Glen and Sears Point back in the old NASCAR days, and he even outran Earnhardt a number of times. So yeah, contending with elevation changes. You're also contending with different routes around the track, corkscrews like we're just seeing right here, and you got a lot going on behind the wheel.
There's a lot going on, and you talk about those elevation changes, and right by the start-finish line there, then you have a sharp 90-degree turn that you gotta get ready to get wound up for it, and if you can get it braking in time, and then with all that momentum going down the hill, it can be a tricky track here. And so far, we haven't seen too many. I think the 03 of Dylan Thomas, only car that really went off track so far here tonight, but. Yeah, especially once we get him in a crowd, once we start this race, I expect it to be pretty wild here tonight, as we had the ladder series, OSCA's ladder series race beforehand, and that corkscrew can get blocked pretty quick. It's probably only about a car width wide, and it's going to be interesting to see, Ben, where the good passing zones will be on the track here tonight, because it is a relatively narrow road course.
Speaking of that, as the lanes develop here, what'll be really interesting to see is obviously there's going to be one main line that everybody is running, which just by looking at it, physics is going to dictate that that's going to be the fastest way around the racetrack. The track is very narrow, and it gets even more narrow in different parts of the racetrack, but at the same time it will also get more wide, because as the more rubber gets laid down, the groove will get more wide. So I think we are going to see some pretty bold moves here. Like you said, Goody, once these cars get into a crowd and move around, but also patience. Like right now, I'm looking at the timing, the time trials here. We have a 7-second difference between number 90, Johnny Eckert, and Robert Hill Jr. in the 05. 7 seconds difference in time. So 2:11.2 minutes, 11 seconds is the fast time right now, all the way down to 2 minutes and 18 seconds to get around this track. really, this track should get faster as the night goes on, depending on how the track was, shall we say, prepped. But whatever they're putting down here. So, all right, goody.
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're getting the field gridded up, and Johnny Eckert, two-time defending champion, on the pole. Can he get that first win of the 2022 A season? We know he's hungry. He wants to go out there and get it. We also, starting alongside of him, we have newcomer Cameron Rich in the 17, and he's kind of doing the fill-in work here tonight. Nick and Delgado, again, we saw him sweep last week at, where were we at last week? Was that Auto Club? I cannot remember now. We were at Vegas. My bad. I know where I'm at. Carlos, where are you yelling at me? Oh, and I spilled the beans. There they are.
Do you want me to check in the Country Gardens now?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. Carlos doesn't understand. He's still young yet, so he can handle this.
Well, young man, get off my lawn.
Yeah. Then we also have how about Kyle Carlson, the old mud duck from Minnesota, starting ninth. He looked pretty sporty in practice here tonight. Expect him to run pretty well. They have Tyler Fody filling in for Hot Shoe Schumann in that 24 machine. Let me see the rest of the field rundown. Damian Leininger also still filling in for Johnny Thomas in that 83. And making the show. He's won a couple events here so far this season. Going through 13th through 24th. You see Dylan Thomas. That's a pretty good qualifying lap after going off course. Then who else we have down here? Ray Bracey filling in for Osborne in that 15. Brent Jones makes his return to OSCA action here in that 89. Westergreen, man, he did not have many good things to say about this track before tonight. Qualified 21st. We shall see how he runs here tonight as the field is getting ready to roll. And I think they only have a couple corners, and we're going to be green flag racing, Ben. And for the Mr. Bushy 128. And again, that is a Twitch channel for the 06 driver of Alex Kenton. So you can do the dual screen monitor and check out his channel at twitch.tv/Mr. Bushy. That's with 2 S's there.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. Sometimes getting the in-car view gets pretty crazy. I think we're about ready to see the pace car dive off it has, and we're getting ready to go green flag racing.
Zach starting from pits.
17 laps here of action. 16 laps, I'm sorry. Then now it flipped over. 16 laps, 2 halves. Top 10 invert here tonight. And it's going to be side-by-side battle between Cameron Rich and Johnny Eckert. And they're going to drag race down into turn number 2. And this corner here can be really tricky if you don't get woed up in time. It doesn't look too difficult, but if you carry too much speed or hit that curve, the car can spin out and see if the field gets through here safe as Rich takes the lead. Oh, Rich into the outside wall.
Oh, look at that.
Cam, you spilled the beans.
And Rich, yeah, too much beans, as Carlos would say, and he's going to fall back to about 6th position. He brought old Kevin out, and now Johnny Eckert takes the top spot. This is where he wants to be.
You can see as the cars, when they're optimal goal on a road course racetrack just like this is you want to figure out, obviously, the fastest way to get around the racetrack isn't always the most obvious. So when you think that you want to stay on the inside, maybe you want to go to the outside. Like right there, for example, you can see that the cars dove. We had one go off the racetrack there, go way to the outside, make an S to come back in and carry that momentum through the corner and try and launch you down the straightaway. Basically turn all these corners into straightaways and then get yourself in position to negotiate that next turn as we got Eckert leading the charge through the S's and still in lap 1.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to set up, make the cars go as straight as possible. You be able to hit that apex in the corner. I mean, road course racing really is an art, and I am not an artist. That's why I struggle at the road course. Carlos could tell you Monday he had the broadcast for OSCA, and it was bad for me then. But that's a track I know. Bathurst is not a track I know particularly well, And I'm sure a lot of these guys out here in the field, it's pretty new for them.
One off the track. It was Dylan Gooden that looked like he went off the track a little bit. Just saw the alert come through. Dylan Gooden, yeah, he went off the track. He is back in 13th.
And then we see Monticelli was slow. Damage. And it appears to be
Conrad.
Can't quite make a Timothy Conrad at 35 off the pace. Looks like he had some damage. Right now it's Eckert pulling away, Ben, and Indelcato. These two guys, you're a newcomer here for the OSCA series, so I'll kind of give you a rundown. Well, Indelcato is not a full-time guy here in the OSCA series, but Johnny Eckert, two-time champion. He's won the last 2 championships. He's currently our points leader coming into tonight. Hasn't gone to victory lane. Indelcato, one of the smoothest, cleanest racers. Although he had a little bit of riffraff last week at Vegas, so he's kind of the guy busting in the door, maybe crashing the party a little bit.
I got a replay.
He's running second. Ooh, we got a replay here too of what exactly happened earlier on. Monticelli with that heavy damage. Oh, this looks like right in the corkscrew where that's narrow part of the track. Ooh, too much rear brake it looks like, and right in the tire barrier.
It's a pretty bold strategy, Con. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, Monticelli, we didn't jinx him last week, but did not start off so good here tonight. We got icy hot. Man, I already forgot. It's been 2 weeks since I said. Do you know, Ben? Do you know the icy hot slogan? Can you say it like Shaq? Icy to dull the pain, hot to relax it away. Is that right, Carlos?
Yep, you got it.
Boom, nailed it. I got it. Icy to dull the pain, hot to relax it away.
Brent Jones with heavy damage.
Hot enough to melt it away.
The kind of Jones, hometown kid here, getting a little damage currently. Where's he on the charts? He's fallen back quite a bit. Now my timing and scoring is messed up again.
Okay, he got his cars at Cashies. Lead.
And then here for the lead, Indelcato catching up to Johnny Eckert as they get to the start-finish line. They're going to drag race, but Johnny Eckert's going to have the inside line going into 1. Keep the lead. Kind of Jones, heavy damage this time.
Goody, as we were quoting Shaq, I was watching the timing, and Indelcato was a second and a half back at one point. Second and a half back. And that looked to be about a half a lap prior to when the trouble happened. So, and also then battling for the lead. We'll go from a second and a half back to battling for the lead with Eckert. Makes a person wonder, we can only see what we can see here, but it makes a person wonder what happened that caused that quick of a gap to be closed. Is it more of, it could have been an issue with somebody's car? Did somebody make a mistake, and behind the wheel? Also, technology plays in a factor too. Let's be real. Internet connections can be kind of bad at some point, So there's so many things, so many contributing factors that go along with how these cars handle and how the drivers do, because there's so many things that are out of their control, more so, I would say, than than when you're at a race in person. So a lot that can go wrong here. These guys behind the wheel of these cars, they got some talent. Eckert, now he's got his second advantage again over Indelcato. Seth Rouse, number 29, he is 3.5 seconds back from your leader, Johnny Eckert, in 90.
Yeah, and it's crazy sometimes how people even can drive so differently on each road course. I know me and Dewar raced a race at Watkins Glen one time, and it was like through the first half of the track, I would pull away from him by about a second and a half. But then once we got to about the bus stop at Watkins Glen, he would close that gap and we'd run almost identical lap times, and we'd be like almost bumping fenders as we crossed the line. It's just crazy just how maybe certain areas of the track fits a guy's driving style. And here at Bathurst, there's a lot of time to be made up in these certain corners, hitting those curbs, as we've seen the 6 car of James Watson filling in for Zach Evans tonight. That could certainly upset the car. And if you can negotiate through a lot of these 90-degree turns, the corkscrews. You know, some of these. Oh, we see Chad Fernquist coming down pit road early. I think he's going to short pit it. So I think he'll be able to make it on fuel for here. I was told 13 laps will be able to get you to the end out of this 16-lap half. So we should be seeing everyone come down pit road, because 3 laps at Bathurst here, that's a lot to save.
Yeah, it really is. And this, to pass on this racetrack in what looks to be the majority of the entire course, you have to thread the needle. What I mean by that is, like right there, for example, you gotta, in here, you gotta change your line. You've got to figure out a way to put your car where the other car isn't, but yet can still be faster. So, and obviously we got the in-car view here, so way to the outside there. If a person were to go further to the outside, then cut a diamond angle into that corner, your car's got to be working at absolute top level in order to be able to make those type of passes. So right now, as in the early stage of this one, with Eckert in the lead, 13 to go, you're going to see some very, very calculated moves. I would argue as the night goes on, Goody, we're going to see some more kamikaze moves. It always happens on road courses.
Oh, yeah, especially if we see guys catching up after pit stops, getting those 4 feel goods, feel a little bit more confident. You might drive a little bit harder in the corner, harder than you should. Definitely look for that to happen. We've seen it here in OSCA series past. Oh, Eckert getting off the grass sideways. And that's one thing, you could go around here and run a perfect race all night long, and it could be just one corner like that for Eckert kicking it sideways. That 1.5 second lead, could bring Indelicato right on that back bumper.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because when you come into a corner like this, for example, your left rear, their right rear goes off of the ramp, or goes off of the speed bump there and goes onto the grass. You're done. You're gonna lose 3/4 of a second just by doing that, because now you got to pick up momentum. You got to gather your car back up, make sure that everything is all right. You got to do all of that within the time that about a half second, not even after you've made that mistake. Even a 1/10 of a second, and a 1/10 of a second in this business, that is a really, really long time. At least that's what I tell myself.
Yeah, that is almost an eternity. We see another car off the track there, and I believe that is the 06 of Kenton, the star of the show, the name brand of the show, Mr. Bushy. Check out what happened maybe on his Twitch channel there as we keep going. 12 laps to go. And as we
smart enough to figure out how to mute those Twitch channels. I had one up, but I could hear them talking as well.
Sometimes it's entertaining. I usually let it be known too that you can hear sometimes the driver audio, which one thing that's unique to iRacing, different than real life racing. Every driver can talk to each other, so there's certain times that things can get pretty animated and entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah, I think there's probably some people out there that regret wearing headsets when they're driving.
Oh yeah, usually when leagues it can still get pretty bad, to be honest. But you do those official races, yeah. Sometimes turning the voice chat off is the best bet to go when you don't know the guy next to you, and you can just hear him complain. Maybe that's where like old school racing. Just talk to me after the race, or give me a bumper. Just let me know you didn't like it. You don't have to whine or cry about it for 5 minutes, but.
This is iRacing. It's not Madden, for crying out loud.
Yeah, right. No rage quitting allowed. Yeah. As we see now, the 97 of DJ Weeks trying to maneuver through the field here, trying to get in that top 10. Trying to chase down Dallas Myhan at the Mohawk Foundation. Shout out to them. Hopefully they're watching along at home.
Like right there, for example, we just saw that car right rear went off onto the grass. That's going to do 2 things. One, it's going to scrub off momentum, obviously, because a flat surface on the tire and a flat surface on the blacktop And as the blacktop heats up as the race goes on, the rubber, I mean, literally, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's the expression right here. You go into the grass like that, one, it's going to obviously slow you down because these are racing slicks. There is no, there are no grooves in these tires. The other thing it's going to do is your tire will pick up a bunch of stuff from that grass, and now you got to contend with potentially scrubbing that off. So, yeah, obviously, as dumb as it sounds to say, the best move is to stay on the racetrack. It literally is the best move to do. Keep your car going forward, not at all going sideways. Speaking of not going sideways, Eckert in 90, still showing the way out there. He's got a 1.2 to 2 point, whoa. In Nick Indelcato making up some ground there, finding a good way to get around the racetrack. He closed to within a little bit shorter than a second, but Eckert still continuing to show the way. Those two, they are putting on a clinic with a 4.5 second lead over Cameron Rich in 17, who's running in third, Goody.
Yeah, and you look at Cameron Rich, Tyler Fode. Oh, off the racetrack, trying to keep it on it as best he can. And now, like you said, iRacing has this too. Getting off the track, he might have a little bit of traction loss going to the next corner. Indelcato now right on that back bumper, just a couple car lengths back as we get down to 10 laps to go. And you gotta wonder, just sometimes even seeing that car in your rearview mirror, it's would you rather be the leader or would it be the one chasing? I know from my experience, not leading a race, but having battling for position, sometimes it's so much easier being the guy behind because you're just waiting for that guy ahead of you to mess up, and the more pressure to me is on that guy in the lead, and it's on Johnny Eckert right now, especially as we've seen here in weeks past. We've interviewed Johnny after finishing the top 3, not getting into victory lane. We know he's hungry, and it could lead to just little mistakes here as we are winding down with under 10 laps to go.
You know, just as you say there, too, being the leader, you've got nothing but clean air in front of you, and that's a very distinct advantage in a spot like this, right? Because you've got clean air, open racetrack in front of you, so the world is really your oyster. On a super speedway, though, or, anytime aerodynamics and drafting does come into play, more so than what it does in these road courses, to be the guy chasing, and especially with 10 laps going in this race, there's a lot of race left here. So to be the guy chasing, if you can think, all right, that guy, I know he's going to make a mistake here because he made a mistake in this specific spot the last 4 laps. Or he made, you can pick out a long road course like this, you can pick out 3 or 4 spots where the guy in front of you is making that mistake, and that's how you can capitalize. Whereas when you're out front on a road course like this, you can make literally no mistakes. And Eckert, he went from over a second lead. He's now, and Nick Indelcato has closed the gap to within about, now he's up about a half second, slowing down a little bit. And Eckert regaining his lead, but Indelcato, he's finding something that works. He's hoping and praying that Johnny Eckert in 90 makes a mistake, and Johnny Eckert is probably behind the wheel saying, there's no way I'm going on the grass ever again. This race is mine.
Just got to commend how brave he was maneuvering through those corners. Just a lap ago, we seen him overshoot it, and you seen how much deeper he went into the corner than Indelcato through that section of the racetrack. And I think that's one of the big things. Oh, now we see side-by-side battle for the lead. Looked like he was trying to make a move there. As Indelcato's there, as they're drag racing down, who's it going to be? I think Eckert might have the advantage going to the next corner. Again, not knowing this track entirely too well. Yep, Eckert's going to have that inside line, but if Indelcato tries to make it stick.
Watch this. If Indelcato can make another move like that, he can go to the outside, fake out Eckert, and then come back in, and he can pass him just like he's going to do right here. Now he's got the competitive advantage going through these S-turns, up the elevations through the S-turns. Your new leader, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Indelcato in 7.
In the 7, and how about the Mohawk Foundation? Let's go, Team Boobies. Supporting the fight for breast cancer. Yeah, we're all big fans. Oh, and Eckert. Now he's trying to get back up into that lead. He's giving it everything he got. A little bit too much wheel spin. Now we're going to go down the hill. Can Johnny take that lead back? We're about to find out. Closing down his back bumper. This is where it is very unstable going through this corkscrew right here. And in that ladder series race, I think I hit the wall. I think right down in here about every other lap into those Falcon tire barriers there.
Yeah, that air is deceptive.
Yeah, it is crazy.
That's the thing about walls goodies. They don't move. No matter how many times that you hit them, they do not move.
Yeah.
You almost wonder if when he went off the racetrack, we didn't see what happened that caused him to go off the racetrack, but how much damage did he do to his car by going off the racetrack with whatever happened? So because now in Delgado he is up close to over a second lead right there.
Cam and Rich as well.
Eckert and Rich coming down pit road, getting their service done. So I think Eckert's strategy here: get fresher tires, run some qualifying laps, and there is the 15 of Ray Bracey going around, and again, bad spot on the track. Well, not too many spots here on the racetrack to get sideways, as it blocks almost the entire racing groove. Luckily, everyone able to get by. And now in Delgado has clean racetrack in front of him, behind him. You see Eckert finishing up his pit stop there. Kyle Carlson coming down pit road as well. Strong run for him in the top 10. And I'm just glad, Ben, that Carlson, he's from Minnesota. He's at least running Minnesota Wild paint scheme. I can respect that, but he ran a Minnesota Vikings scheme, and for us cheeseheads, that hurts.
A lot of my family is from Minnesota originally, and my grandpa he moved from Grand Falls, Minnesota to Minneapolis, and then over to the Fox Valley area back in the glory days of the Green Bay Packers. And he did a lot of banking for those guys, and his boss at First National Bank, because he would go pick up all the deposits from Lambeau Field, and his boss at First National Bank said, "Hey, where's Fran Tarkington jersey?" His boss said, "You want to keep your job?" He said, "Yeah." He goes, "You'll burn that Fran Tarkington jersey." And you know what? He did.
Oh,
and he became a Packer fan the next day. Now he's one of the biggest Packer fans that I know.
Man, so, you still got to wonder how much that Tarkington jersey could have been worth nowadays.
Well, exactly. And that's my grandpa said I wouldn't have to work so dang hard if I would have been so stupid and burned that jersey. I should have just put it away.
See, now Elmo's burning. Oh, no. And now we still see Delgado with the 10-second lead. He's going to dive down pit road. That will inherit the lead to Tyler Fody unless he chooses to pit this lap. So these guys choosing to split the in half. And we'll see if Tyler Fody comes down pit road. He's still got some time to.
Seth Rawls does.
He's going to take over the lead. Seth Rawls coming down pit road. And Damian Leininger. Again, check out the Bat Flip podcast. I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say with baseball coming back. I mean, Leininger, he's all right for a Dodgers fan. And then we have Carlos here as a Marlins fan, just to let you know, Ben. So.
Well, you know what? Nobody's perfect, I guess.
Yeah, right. We're not. We're Brewers fans, so I don't know what we're doing.
Right, yeah. I think over that Brewers get to a World Series in Bob Uecker's lifetime.
Oh, that would be amazing. You see Adam Tepper almost going off track there.
It's interesting too as the night goes on here, and just a touch over, or right at halfway, I guess. Right at halfway. Pits, pitting, getting tires. A lot of strategy goes into that too, because you think, okay, my car is doing all right. If I get back to third, and these other guys pass me, and then they go in to pit, and then I, 2 laps later or a lap later, I go into pit. Now I've got 1 lap less tires and 1 lap more fuel and all that stuff. So pit strategy here really does come into play, and it comes to play at all road courses as well as super speedways. Really, the only spots that pit strategy isn't that big of a deal is a lot of the, half mile. What trouble? I just saw it right there.
Through the 54. And who's in the 54? Fred Anderson already lapped down going off the racetrack. And, we talk about how good our leaders were tonight in Delgado and Eckert here in half one. Damian Leininger, who's running in the top 10 before he pitted. We do see a little bit of damage on the rear end of that 83, but they are right there. They're going for second place, and Damian has yet to pit. It just proves how much sail they set. But before they came down pit road, and look how close, Eckert and Indalcado, they cannot get away from each other right now. Leininger maybe playing a little bit of a pick for Indalcado as he's going to pull a little bit of a gap here.
Oh,
look at that
no.
contact. Ooh, and could that be payback from Auto Club a few weeks ago? Johnny Eckert on the white flag lap had the lead, and it was a fuel mileage race. It was a drag race to the finish line, and Damian got into the side of the 90 car of Johnny Eckert. And I know Johnny was not pleased. Damian was even kind of saying before the race here today, he was wondering when that payback was going to happen. Wonder if that was it right there. Maybe now even, but that was a lot of time lost though for Johnny Eckert. I think he's lost about 4 seconds to Indalcado, and now Cameron Rich right on that back bumper. And we'll take a look, see what happened here on the 3-wide TV multicam. And actually, it looked like,
wow.
It looked like Damian kind of almost started losing it going into the corners. That might not have been on purpose there.
That to me doesn't look, that did not look intentional there. Watch it now as they come into the corner. Okay, there's the 83. Goes up, and the 90, Baja's coming in. If we could get a little bit of a different angle there, we could see how much room the 83 gave the 90. And
don't tell me what to do.
I know I'm not your real mom. I can't tell you what to do.
But it looked like too, just the angle that Damian came into that corner. It's a very difficult angle. Just got that rear end.
Yeah, that's a racing deal. I would love to hear from the 90 as to what his thoughts were as well as the 83. But to me, that just looked like sort of like an old crap moment. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like it doesn't. Yeah, because there's no way that can be intentional.
Yeah, the only other thing, I don't think, the iRacing, the one thing that makes it maybe not a little as realistic as it is netcode, and I don't think that was netcode on that. They were close together. Yeah, it just.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional, but I think the 90 just went in the corner a little too hard, lifted up his left front, lost control of his front end, got into the 83. Definitely not intentional there, but it'll be really interesting to see what these guys have to say if we get a chance to talk to them.
Yeah, we should be able to talk to Johnny Eckert here before the night's over. We see Tyler Fode hitting pit road, and that will give the lead back to Nick Indalcado. And Johnny Eckert and Cameron move into the top 3. We'll see where Tyler Fode comes out, and now Indalcado 5-second lead. So I mean, you've seen some of the mistakes that that the 90 of Johnny Eckert had that kind of cost him quite a bit of time. We know he has the speed, and interesting, we got to keep note, and we haven't really talked too much about it so far, is that the top 10 will invert after this heat. So a lot of these guys who are running in the 9th, 10th spot, they could be potentially, starting up front in half number 2. And that's going to be something to watch out for sure. And right now, you're looking at the 97 of DJ Weeks and Damian Leininger, who we just seen get in that little skirmish. They could be starting up on the front row. And then a lot of work for Indalcado and Eckert to do once half number 2 begins. But we still have 5 laps of racing to go. We see Indalcado working on the lap car of Cody McLean. And hey, me and Cody got to do some racing earlier in that ladder series race. Our cars didn't look clean, as his name said, but we're still having a good time. We see Brent Jones. He's out there. He's running in the 27th position, just going a lap down.
Goody, you should work a Schmitty's Moonshine special into one of these events, and yeah, Schmitty's Moonshine Invitational only, and then yeah, in order to compete in a race, you actually have to physically be seen drinking some of that rocket fuel that Schmitty makes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not moonshine. I think it's just pure ethanol or gasoline. Something. It's wicked. We had that a couple years ago at our deer camp, and woo.
it made my dad like vomit.
It's some pretty potent stuff, and I'm pretty sure, you know, any man, even a guy who can hold his liquor as good as some of us Wisconsin boys, they might not be getting through turn number 1 on this track with that stuff. But
and yeah, it is simply put, it's just exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Simply put, it is just unproved moonshine, is what it is. And for those of you listening out there, Goody and I, our friendship goes back about a little over 30 years, and our dads grew up together, best friends in high school. Goody's grandpa used to cut my hair, never on a Friday morning though. Never on a Friday morning. I made that mistake once, and he missed the entire right side of my head.
Oh yeah, yep.
God rest his soul, the great Jack Goodman.
Yeah, and you know, he'd be a little disappointed. I don't have as much hair to cut, but you know, it would have been easier for him.
Nick and Delgado continuing to show the way, Eckert, and as we get this sorted out, laps winding down, 4 to go. Yeah, the Eckert is about 5.1 seconds back. Cameron Rich another 2 seconds behind them. Look at that, 10 seconds back from the leader is Tyler Fody, who also moved up 6 positions. And if I'm reading that right, Chad Fernquist started in 25th and now in 7th.
I believe he started in the back, and he did pit early on lap 3, I believe, and working his way up into the top 10 and running right ahead of Kyle Carlson. So good runs for them. And the
now,
Chad Fernquist.
Now, if I'm running in 7th and I'm Chad Fernquist, I got 4 to go, and I'm 2.5 seconds behind the leader. As I'm reading there, that's the interval from the car in front of him anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. So if I'm thinking, okay, do I want to go for and try and really drop the hammer, as they say, and get to the front of the pack? And do I have a shot at winning this race? Or being that I'm in 7th, I could really start inside row number 2 for the next event. Yeah, a little bit of strategy there that goes along with it too. Do you want to protect yourself for the next race, or do you want to try and finish this race in as best of a position as possible?
You know, for some of these guys that are running for points, probably, want to get that good start even for the next half, because track position, I think, will be key for some of the guys like Damian, who's currently holding on to that 10th spot. But knowing Chad Thornquist in that 0-2, he's going all out every lap, and I think he's going to try to get whatever he can, try to close that gap. But now Damian, he's got a little fight going on for that 10th position with Dylan Thomas. They're teammates on Monday nights in the OSCA series, but tonight they are not, and they're going to battle for that transfer position with 3 laps to go. So this could be interesting how this is going to play out, and they are 2 seconds behind 9th place of DJ Weeks. So this basically is going to be a 2-car battle for who's going to start up front in half number 2.
Well, don't beat and bang on each other too much, guys. It's just inside and outside pull. Either way, you're on the front row.
Well, no, but Dylan's outside looking in right now. He'd have to start back in 11th. Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
He's going to have to charge hard here, and he's catching them again at the worst possible spot to pass them through these S's, and currently going through the downhill portion of the corkscrews here.
Yeah, that's not a passing zone.
No, not at all. I
the whole mountain,
like maybe 3. Yeah, the whole mountain is not a passing zone here. And this is my favorite part of the track. It is fun when you get through this portion of the track. I will tell you, it is probably the most rewarding I've ever felt.
On
Sure,
goodness sake,
it looks it. It definitely looks it. Yeah, going downhill like this, what discipline these drivers have to have is they go downhill, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left, gather up the throttle, drop the hammer right now, and then you've got to remember where you are at on the racing surface, on the racetrack itself, going uphill, position yourself inside, outside. Now, right here, this is where aerodynamics comes into play. Hit the brakes as hard as you can, get back on the throttle. You're thinking a lot. Yeah, and coordination, physics, geometry, technology, all going into play here as we, as the two sticks are out, as we do in dirt track racing. What just happened? Oh,
did bad.
Wow. You know, actually, all that talking right there, you know, all that stuff making sense. I think I need to like sit down and take the next couple plays out.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh.
Not too much of the.
Yeah.
You said the noodle a little bit too much here.
This is right now, Goody. I don't know if you can see, but I'm standing up. I'm paying homage to Pat McAfee, standing up and sitting down. And I do this all the time for our work Zoom meetings. I'll stand up, I'll move over here, I'll go back over here, and.
Yeah, see, you're kind of carrying the mic too, a lot like McAfee does. Are you wearing the jean shorts? That's, I think, the big question.
You know what? I think if we've got time, I might have a pair of jean shorts upstairs. I for sure have a tank top, though. I can go put that on.
So there you go. You'll have like four minutes, intermission here. You can probably get that done.
I think I will put the tank top on. And
Westergreen going around.
Turn one.
He was running right in turn one. He's able to get it going. Having a decent run in the top 20, and if you could hear his displeasure for this track, I would relate it to Joe Pesci in Home Alone when he's like cussing. was equivalent to what Westergreen was doing before this race, and the kind words he had to say about this racetrack. But kept it. The car looked relatively clean. It's for some of these guys not used to running some of these road courses, especially one like Bathurst, as we now do have one to go.
Laundry being hung out for in Delgado. Wow, he's now putting on a clinic.
Yeah, he's almost to a 7-second lead over Johnny Eckert, who looked like he was closing in a little bit in those previous laps, but now maybe kind of pacing himself, knowing that he's not going to be able to chase in Delgado. Maybe holding those cards a little close to the vest, because again, a guy in Eckert who wants to see victory lane. But the guy he's going to have to knock off right here is Nick Indelgado, who's won the last 3 halves here in OSCA action. The only 3 halves that he has run ever. At least I know in the 2022 A season. He might have made a few starts in the Truck Series back last year. Not even last season, I don't believe. And you see a car must have went off track there, seeing Indelgado going through some dust. Now trying to maneuver through that downhill corkscrew one more time.
7 seconds is a huge gap to make up with this little bit of time. But I tell you what, this is racing. Anything can happen. Anything can happen here.
And at a track like Bathurst, and as we've seen when Johnny was out in the lead, just how a little screw up could make things turn badly quite quickly. But only a couple more corners here for Indelgado. He's got all he has to do.
Thomas is 10th.
Smooth. Oh, Dylan Thomas has moved into that 10th spot as we were watching that battle earlier. See if he can hang on here to finish this lap. Looks like he's kind of pulled.
Indelgado's got this. Indelgado's obviously got that in the bag.
As he moves through the final corner here, hits the curb. But he's going to come across the stripe. Indelgado makes it 3 in a row. He's going to win half number 1 of the Mr. Bushy 128. And Rich, Rich is going to finish second. Eckert, that looked like almost reminiscent.
Eckert can't finish.
Eckert unable to get to the line.
Are you kidding me?
Or is he playing some Is he playing some strategy here? Oh no! I thought maybe he was gonna sit there and try to wait to finish.
Oh wait, no. Sorry.
Sandbagging move.
Oh no, he did make it
The start finish line is
oh,
before.
That's right. Yep, I forgot. This track is weird. It's Australian, different rules. We got all excited. So Eckert does finish third.
Yeah, right under that bridge. That's not the start finish line.
They are going around counterclockwise. Everything goes backwards down there.
Yeah, right. So, Fernquist, a little sideways as he crosses the stripe. He'll finish 7th. Carlson in 8th. DJ Weeks 9th. And Thomas does nab that 10th position. So this confuses me. Yeah, you have that two start finish lines here. Come on, man. It's backwards.
It looks like a start finish line, but it's not.
That's a start finish line. Where's the other one?
No, that's not the start finish line. It's under the bridge.
Right,
wherever the shadow is.
I'm about to rage quit my first time announcing.
Right where the shadow is.
Yeah, these
right
guys are
there.
Right there. Yep, that's the start finish line, and that is.
Oh, I get it. You got a start line and a finish line. They're not one and the same.
Yeah, they're not one and the same here. So yeah, it's different. We see cars still coming around. Another Mohawk Foundation, Ford, and Robert Hill Jr. Currently trying to see if he can get that 15th spot here. Jumps the curb and unable to do so, but he'll end up in the 16th spot. Ooh, we have a battle, I think, between Neil Rutt and Westergreen coming to line. See who gets that done. Looks like Westergreen, 17th position. Not too bad after being off track just a second ago. Thomas Capuano, 19th, and Dustin Dewar, memory lanes Ford. He's going to come home, round out the top 20. And I got to ask you, Ben, have you ever been to memory lanes up in Athens?
I haven't.
What?
I know.
See, there's the start finish line.
Yeah, right there. Or at least the finish line. I don't know what the.
It's got to be. That's got to be a start line, and that line had to be the finish line. It has to be.
I'm thinking that's what it is. And now we are
3 minutes.
Going
3
ahead.
minutes.
Yep, we got 3 minutes, and we'll bring in Nick Indelcato into the booth here, pulling off another win. And Nick, 3 in a row now for you. Did you see this one coming?
I wouldn't say I saw it coming. I mean, I know I had a competition, and it was a great battle there. But I mean, I'll take it anywhere I can get it. I'll take it 3 in a row. It feels nice. I'm back in the 7 car, back in the Shift Esports car, so it feels good.
Nick, you had Eckert in front of you for the first majority of the race. Back about a second and a half, Eckert looked like he was going to take off with it. Was it patience that got you to be able to park it here in this event, or calculated driving? What is your biggest attributing factor to your first place finish here in this first half?
I mean, I would say a little bit of both. I know Eckert was really fast, and I know he was going to be. He's one of the main guys here, and I mean, I did play patience. That was my goal. That's usually what I try to do, and he made mistakes here and there. I tried capitalizing, but I think there was one point, and I had such a good run where I wasn't going to pass it up, and I mean, amazing car control by him. We had an insane battle going up the hill, which you never see here, especially in stock cars. I mean, it's almost unheard of. So it was patience. He made mistakes. It is what it is. But, you know, once I got ahead, made that pit stop, I think I was just faster overall and smoother.
So Nick, you know, we're trying to describe the only time I drove a stock car here was in the ladder series before this event, and that was a late model. And describe how tough it is out there driving a stock car, which is not made to go around a track like Bathurst.
No, it's hard. Like, I mean, you know, the elevation change plays a massive factor. Your wheel spinning going over the straightaway, going down into turn 1. So I mean, it's sketchy all around. It's tight corners. If you look at every lap, I'm guessing people are scraping the wall here and there in the uphill section. But it's crazy. I love the GT3 cars here, and I wouldn't say they're alike. Obviously, a lot more horsepower in these things, and obviously no downforce. So it's harder, but it's a ton of fun when you can get control of it and go lap by lap.
Tires win races. And on a road course, control wins races. You just mentioned something about these cars having no downforce. By comparison to the other races that you've driven, and forgive me, this is my first time ever calling an iRace of this magnitude. Congratulations on an amazing run. Your driving style must seriously have to change, and you must have had to quickly adapt to what these cars are capable of doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's for sure hard. You can, I mean, obviously in iRacing, you can go from different cars, sports cars, to even Formula One cars at this point, but your driving style definitely does have to change. And a lot of people go more aggressive, but me, I tend to, save my tires, take it easy, and see what I could do at the end of a race. And for this race, it just worked out, and going into the second one, I'll have the same run.
So now you're starting back in 10th. What's the strategy to go forward here in half number 2?
So I think for this race they changed it. There's no 10-person invert; it's 3-person. So I'm going to be starting in third again. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I know Rich and Eckert; those guys learn. So it's going to be an even tighter race this time by.
Oh, so yeah, 3. And as we see you're gritting up, we'll let you get back out there. And, well, heck, we might be talking to you again before the night's through. Try to go for another sweep here. Get that broom on, huh?
I would hope so. Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank
Congratulations.
you. And we'll get him to the proper team here this time.
No,
he did it himself.
We spilled the beans. We did not pay attention that this was a top 3 invert. We all did.
Yeah, yep. Our bad. And unfortunately, I should have looked harder because I know that meme was going to be coming if I screwed that up, and I did. But that means Cameron Rich, or actually Johnny Eckert, will be starting on the pole. Sorry, I forgot about that last second pass there. So, prime position for Eckert to try to get that first win of the season, but not too far behind. Right on his back bumper is going to be Delgado. We've seen Rich be pretty sporty here as well. And a whole nother chance for these drivers to do it again. 16 laps of green flag action here at Bathurst for the Mr. Bushy 128. And the pace car is going to dive down pit road. That beautiful Porsche coming down. They're going to go around the corner. And green flag is out. They're hitting the loud pedal. And a drag race between the 47 and the 90. As we start this event, 2x2, and looks like Thomas almost going to the grass, able to hang on. And we've seen last race Ben pretty clean on the start. We'll see how these boys can maneuver here in half number 2.
Well, it's all about getting in line, right? And it's early on in what is a long race. I would consider this, even though it's only 16 laps, this is very much an endurance race too, because you got to be on your game mentally the entire time here. So it's about getting a line, strategy. Look at Eckert, though, going to the outside. Looks like he's going to get freight train. Delgado right on him, and he hangs back. Eckert still in second with Rich out front. And Rich has got just under a half-second lead over Johnny Eckert. And Nick and Delgado running in third. Tyler Fody in fourth. And Seth Rawls rounding out your top 5. But like I said, it's about getting in line right now. Strategy and biding your time. Races, I don't care who you are, unless it's a one-lap race. Races are not won in one lap. And like the great Dick Trickle once said, if you want to finish first, you must first finish.
Yeah, and sometimes it is so hard to rein that in. A lot of times in practice for a lot of these guys who are amateurs here on the iRacing circuit here in the OSCA series, you're out there a lot of times in practice, almost trying to run qualifying laps to set that best time, and sometimes you just realize during the race how much that pace actually changes, because you got to make sure that car finishes. You'll see sometimes in practice guys are unable to complete a lap, as we see Dewar and Westergreen, two buddies there, two former teammates in different series. They were having trouble completing laps in practice, but coming to the race, they slow down, they back up their corners a little bit on entry, and they're able to keep it relatively clean by the end of the night. And we see one car going off the racetrack, getting into grass. That's DJ Weeks in the 97, getting back on course. There's only one guy that I've ever seen win a race and go off the track at the same time, and that was Chubb Frank
in his one-star late model, dirt late model, and that was at a race in Pennsylvania. He literally cut through the infield way to the inside, but they didn't black flag him, and he ended up winning that race. But that is just all luck if you're capable of doing that, because you at least have a really good idea what's underneath you when you got your car on the actual designated racing surface. When you go off the track, yeah, obviously anything can happen, as we're seeing here, and yeah, Cameron Rich out front, Johnny Eckert back in second, Nick Delcottle third, Tyler 44th, Seth Rawls.
Oh no!
Eckert moves up in a third. Oh, trouble! Oh, look at that!
Johnny Eckert in the inside wall. Heavy, looks like heavy damage. Smoke coming from that machine. And he looks like he might be all right. That might have been tire smoke trying to get back going, but right in front of the entire field, he's going to fall out of the top 10, top 20 now as he gets back going, and he's going to have a lot of work to do to even get back in position to get a good finish here tonight. So an unfortunate night gets a little bit worse for Johnny Eckert, and potentially, you know, as you're talking about, Ben, you can't win a race on lap 1 or 2, but you can certainly lose it.
Oh yeah, yeah. To stay in a positive position, in a positive mindset, it's really hard to maintain that. But one mistake, negative mindset, negative position, and yeah, and you're screwed for a while.
And just a little too much beans there, I think, Carlos, going into that portion of the S's. It looks like I don't think he bit any of the curb. Maybe even getting a little too on the outside. Maybe too much marbles going into the corner.
Oh, too much curb.
Oh, hit the curb. Curb. Got him. Oh, unfortunate for Eckert. He'll possibly have to wait another week for that victory lane, and the beans are out. Spilled the beans.
Is it me, or are they always upside down?
Oh, we're in Australia.
Yeah, oh, you know what? I didn't get that. I was kind of wondering. I was thinking it was just us. But yeah, so upside down here, land down under. There we go.
Oh, Ben. Wow.
Don't worry. So
Goody, I will see you in Country Gardens.
I think it's his young, fresh mind that he gets me on a weekly basis. Circle will meet the square eventually, but sometimes it takes a minute. He's quick-witted, that Carlos.
You should see me on days where I can actually name the race.
Oh yeah, he couldn't name the race tonight. It was sponsored, but he has
so
some
livid.
doozies.
Like
I can only imagine with the track called Bathurst.
Me and Mr. Bush here we're gonna be fist fighting at a Cashies after this race.
Do you need an announcer for that too?
Maybe.
Yeah. We get ringside, baby. Let's go.
I've done that before too. That's a blast. Cameron
Really?
Rich. Oh yeah, I did cage fighting. That's announcing anyway. All you have to do is just have somebody open the door for you, dress up in a suit, go into the center of the cage, and talk like Bruce Buffer. It's great.
Give us your best example.
It's time.
Hey, that was pretty good. I like that. And
That
right
was a
now,
lot.
it's time for Cameron Riches. He is almost got a 3-second lead over Delcottle, and maybe proves just a little bit of track position for that 47 on the racetrack, number 17 on the scorecard. Filling in tonight, I believe. I see I had the driver line up. Who he's filling in for here. Get that in just a second. Sub, I think, is his first
Jordan
start
Tarble.
of the season. Jordan Tarble, yes.
Who is unfortunately at a funeral tonight.
Yes, unfortunately, and hopefully we'll see him back in OSCA Series action next week at Darlington, right here on 3 Wide TV.
Pit road.
As we see now, Fernquist again. We've seen this last half. He must have liked the strategy. Relinquishes his top 10 run to get on the pits as soon as possible once he hits that window. And I wonder, Ben, you've seen some of the guys kind of break it up in half. Some guys run a little bit past halfway. We'll see maybe what some of these drivers felt, what was the best strategy, and see if any of that changes. Obviously, for Fernquist, he felt like he liked that strategy, and that window I guess now is open. Let's see when guys get on and off pit road. Maybe even for guys like Fody, Rawls that aren't quite up to the Indelcato and Rich speed. Maybe they pull a different strategy to try to get those fresher tires and gain a little bit of time on the top two right now.
What other adjustments are they allowed to make on these cars when they do go pit?
So this is being a fixed setup league. Really, there's not much adjustments that you can make at all. No air pressure, nothing. It's basically just having the fresh tires. And I don't know what the tire fall off would be here per se. Never running a lap here on Bathurst in the Xfinity car. So it might just be even a chance to kind of get out of the pack and being able to put those Q laps down just all by yourself, as Indelcato certainly is, almost hitting the wall there. Well, maybe these guys are just running smoother. They're getting real close to that tire barrier, that Falcon tire barrier coming out of the S's.
The within the auspices of iRacing, and is it set up to where it will take rubber and grooves will change as the night goes on? Because I know that happens in I hate the term real racing, because this is, in my mind, this is real racing. Guys work hard at this and they make money at it. There's professional iRacers, but on a track that you are not in your basement or your living room racing, you were actually there.
In the physical world.
Yeah, the grooves change and all that stuff. I'm wondering
corporeal
if the
racing
track conditions change over the course of a race in this league as it does in other leagues in iRacing, as well as when at an in-person event.
Yeah, it is something you see, more telling, in your, well, in the virtual side of it on dirt, you see here in iRacing how much that groove changes even throughout practice, even starting off with the fresh racetrack. And here in the OSCA series, you can obviously, we see a couple of cars on pit road, Weeks on pit road. See DJ Weeks after going off track earlier on pit road. But yeah, the track, I think they had it 0%. There's all clean, and the rubber they put down does carry over from practice and the first half as well. So that does change things quite a bit on these racetracks. Maybe not so much as dirt track, but as you said, the grooves widen a little bit as this race goes on, and maybe even sometimes a little slick too, with temperature changes too.
The asphalt absorbs rubber just as much as dirt racing does. Absolutely, it 100% does. Because otherwise there would be no such thing as quote unquote the groove in asphalt racing. Because the fastest way around the racetrack isn't always the most obvious. The fastest way around the racetrack can be where the cars are running, and the majority of the time. So rubber on rubber is going to be way faster than rubber on just blacktop.
Yeah, and certainly I think seen one guy picking up time, Cameron Rich, last lap a 2:11.6, and I believe in qualifying, we're a couple laps in. Indelcato ran a 2:11.2. Well, that's practiced for Cameron Rich. It was about equivalent to what he ran in qualifying. So, and that was with a little bit fresher track. And obviously, again, kind of going back to that race mode where you're maybe not driving into the corners as deep, getting on the gas quite as early. You're kind of pacing yourself a little bit, but still running about as fast as time as you were in qualifying. That kind of tells to what you were saying about the track picking up with rubber on it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, the developers of iRacing, how they got all this to work. And has North Wilkesboro been released yet?
Yep,
yes.
North Wilkesboro. Yep, it's been about maybe almost 2 years now, I think.
No.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, actually, yeah. 2020.
Yeah, I think right during the pandemic when everything shut down, they treated us.
Oh man,
with
time
North
flies.
Wilkesboro. I know.
I'm getting
I didn't think
old.
it was that long.
I'm gonna be needing an icy hot soon.
See, yeah, you will. You'll be joining. Icy to numb the pain, hot to relax it away.
You ever hear Cat Williams' comic skit when he talks about Shaq being an undercover cop?
No, I know.
Shaq, hey, you want to buy some drugs? No, I don't, Shaq.
He really is a cop, though.
He's got a
In Florida.
Yeah, in Miami.
Really?
He's a doctor. He's got a doctor in police. He's a doctor or master's degree in police science, one of the two. But he's an intelligence cop. But yeah, can you imagine Shaq being undercover?
Oh man,
what's up, Shaq?
I'm not Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, you're not Shaquille O'Neal? Here, take this basketball, go to that court, and shoot me a free throw. Then,
if he misses it, you know it's him.
Right, exactly. I tell you what, who's not missing right now? Taking a look at this is Cameron Rich. Yeah, he was. In Delgado was closing the gap a little bit. Now back 5 seconds. Tyler Fody back 8.5 from your leader. Cameron Rich in 17. Cameron Rich making it look easy out there. Nothing but clean air. Unfortunately, nothing but time in front of him. He is probably looking at his lap counter on how many laps to go. How many laps to go? How many laps to go? It is nerve-wracking being the leader, so I'm told anyway. When I drove, I was never the leader. Closest I got to it was like third. And, but I tell you what, Goody, just like you, sir, I have never, ever lost a race on the microphone.
That's right. Yeah, see, we're safe up here, so we won't lose, like I did Monday night here at Sonoma. It was a lot worse. It just shows how hard it is to maneuver around and how easy Cameron Rich right now is making it look.
Who won that race Monday?
Monday, man, now I can't remember. I don't know. He lapped me like twice, so.
You don't remember who won the race on Monday?
No. Do you, Carlos?
Yes, I broadcasted it. It was Cameron Rich.
Yeah. It was Cat's right. I do remember that. Oh, I think because I was trying to stay out of his way. I was so nervous, but yeah. So he has won here, kind of the road course ringer here tonight, filling in for Tarbell, and Tarbell, I'm sure, seeing his team, his car in the lead, it's got to be all smiles right now.
Well, probably not right now. He is at a funeral.
Yeah. Okay, there's that. But it's a silver lining to the day for him, as Cameron Rich just running smooth, and sometimes too when you're out there, Ben, all alone, running by yourself, and you're talking about the lap counter counting down, and we seen last half when Eckert and Indelcado were battling for that lead. Those laps just tick off, and also you're like, whoa, where did 3 laps go on a track that takes us over 2 minutes to get around? For Cameron Rich, it's got to feel like these laps are almost 10 minutes long.
Oh yeah, hey, just like doing anything else, psychology does play a huge role in racing. When you're out front, it's really hard to gauge how hard to push your car because you have nobody in front of you to gauge it on. You can only, occasionally look at your lap times, and the best thing you can do is just try to be consistent. And for Indelcado, in the first half, that was consistency. He said it, biding his time, waiting it out. He's back about 6 seconds now, 9 to go, plenty of time. We just saw it in the first half. We may see it again if Indelcado can start reeling in Cameron Rich. Again, pit stop's going to play a significant role here, as well as just overall, as they say, strategery is gonna play a role here too.
Yeah, it's gonna play a role. And you look at Cameron Rich's hands through those S's, how much he's wheeling that thing out there right now. Well, maybe not right now. Going through those S's, really just see him sawing at that wheel, seeing what these drivers have to go through to maneuver around this racetrack. So even though he's, looking smooth out there from the inside, where you see where the sausage is made, how difficult it can be to maneuver around this racetrack. And hey, we just saw the cars here before too. I got to make a shout out to James Watson filling in for Zach Evans in that 6th. Me Fine Foundation Ford running 5th. Kyle Carlson running in 6th. Great runs for them. You see Chad Fernquist, who made that pit stop on lap 3, already worked his way back into the top 10. Neil Rutt, the 3rd, filling in for David Carpenter. He's right outside the top 10 in 11th spot. So we have some good runs going. Johnny Eckert.
Oh, pit road leader.
Worked his. Oh, there we see Rich pitting right now. So in Delgado, if he chooses to stay out. Oh, look how tricky pit road is. I forgot the entry is like S's, and wow, he was doing a lot of work just to get out pit road. So man, these guys are making it look easy, Ben, but I think we just proved that it's tough out there.
The elbows up strategy here, fixed setup so where you can't have, you can't balance your car, you can't tie down shocks or anything like that. These fixed setups, it becomes all 100% driver, and those guys they're steering so hard, working their steering wheels over, trying to get their cars to properly react, and then they don't, like we just saw. You are so limited in control in what you do in the garage area, and then coming out here onto the racetrack, it's elbows up and heads on swivels. And I would love to know, I wish there was a way we can see it. Maybe you guys can help me. I'd love to be able to see throttle and brake control at the same time in an in-car camera.
No, that's restricted.
I quit.
Yeah, unfortunately, to prevent copying, that's a feature that's locked behind iRacing.
Yeah,
Really?
so you could see your own throttle and brake input, but to see other drivers, unless they share it to you on, like what we're talking on here on Discord, sometimes your teammates might share their information with you.
That makes sense. I mean,
That's why
it
when
really
we
does
go
make
to
sense.
like cockpit cam on all the cars, we can see how much RPM they're doing and the steering inputs, but we can't see anything else. We can't even see fuel temperature or not fuel temperature. Sorry, water or oil temperature or anything else like that.
This is good enough right here because you can see where we're at right now. You can see tickling 9,000 RPMs, really hard on the gas pedal, and just about redlining his engine. So momentum is obviously key through those corners as well. I mean, there's only one way to make a vehicle go forward, and that is to step on that right rectangular pedal. And so, yeah, you can definitely see it right now as they go downhill using the momentum that they just carried through. And now coming through here, just watching the RPM gauge, now no throttle whatsoever. And back on it, back up to 9,000 RPMs right there, going down the straightaway. Those shifters, I tell you what, Goody, when I had my iRacing set up, I would work that shifter so quickly that there was one time I was leading, I forget what racetrack it was, but I actually knocked the shifter off of its mount.
I've done that many times.
Yeah.
I have mine bolted pretty hard in my sim rig here, but I've had it where my dog at a restrictor plate tracks, we're running in a pack where my dog knocked me out of gear. Luckily, it was in practice, but I caused a big one, so I kind of feel the pain.
Yeah, there was a.
If you feel pain, here's what you're gonna do.
Still hangs over the Chippewa Valley here today, and that was a couple years ago. But so yeah, pit strategy coming into play here. I believe we just saw Delgado into pits, and now Tyler Fody, your new leader in 24. I love the looks of that car. I just do. It's clean. It's simple. That flat black that he's got there, that is just that. I love that. That is a very sharp looking car.
I don't think that's flat black. I think that's carbon fiber. We're just too far away.
Oh, it's kind of hard to see, but I know Fody, if he's filling in for a league, I've actually had to be an artiste on, well, I think he has a sim stamp numbers, but I had to put his numbers on a all black car. I know he does enjoy doing that when he doesn't have to put his sponsors that he runs in other leagues.
You're right. That is matte black.
That is matte black. Yep. And one of the coolest things, you got the matte black, you got the chrome, and sometimes you can't have too much. But to me, you can have too much chrome, but like you're seeing out of Fody's car here, you can never have too much just flat black. Just classy look.
Yeah, it's just simple, clean, classy. And in Delgado's car, I love that magenta color. I think, from an announcer's. What's that?
Oh, it's Mohawk Foundation. Shout out. That's the Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation. Shout out.
That's what that is. Okay. All right. And again, forgive me. This is my first time. But yeah, that type of look that these cars have.
It gets better with experience.
When you're
What?
Got him.
got him.
Oh, he has to take a drink of the liquid death, and yeah, gotta regain the composure there a little bit.
Got him.
And speaking of the track picking up, we see Tyler Fode running 2:14s as our leader, not yet pit. Cameron Rich now running faster than what he ran in qualifying with a 2:11.1. I don't have wide enough to see.
2:11.19.
1.9. So
That's
he
best
is,
lap, and he just turned that lap.
Yeah, and he is screaming right now, trying to get back up running in second place, only 9 seconds behind Fode, who is yet to pit.
And Tyler Fode, his last lap, he's slowing down. His best lap was 2:13.39. His last lap, 2:14.89. So Tyler Fode, realistically, off the pace. He's going to have to pit here before too long. I would imagine the next lap, next chance he has for an opportunity to go into the pit area, he's probably going to. And getting into the closing stages of this event here, yeah, he's probably thinking, man, I know he's coming. I know he's coming. Why do I have to pit? Why can't I just get tires out here right now and just to stay hanging on into that front runner spot? And I'm looking back in the field here too to see where Eckert went. And he is, wow, look at that, up to 13th. So he went all the way back to, I believe, 28th. He's up to 13th. And 6 laps, just a little bit over halfway. He's got about a 20-second interval between him and the leader, 19.36. I would consider Goody. Nothing is on
pit road.
You never know. I mean, he's got to make quite a bit of time up. Well, we do see now Fode down pit lane. I'm sure right now his number one goal is probably try to get back in that top 10 and see what he can get. There's a lot of damage on the front end and back end of that 90 car. And one thing I've noticed running in 3 different NASCAR, well, actually 4 different NASCAR series leagues, running everything from the Xfinity, actually 4 trucks, forgot about that, Cup, and also the OSCA.
Hey, stop bragging.
I'm not bragging, but yeah, I'm not saying I'm good.
I don't
at
want to brag, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal. I'm
I run
mid-pack,
iRacing series.
and I ran really, really bad. But
sponsored by Mrs. Goodies Goodies.
Heck yeah! But shout out to Mama if you're watching.
Shout out, hi Renee.
But the craziest thing is you
shut up. Renee Goodman's a saint.
The
She's
craziest thing is
not one but 2 mics her entire life. So yeah,
that's a tall order there. But the crazy thing with that I've noticed, and it kind of surprised me, is that one of the most aero-sensitive cars on, at least in the NASCAR portion of this sim, is these Xfinity cars. So even with that damage, we see some high-speed areas of this racetrack. You got to wonder how much it's hurting that 90 car of Eckert, which he's kind of almost plateaued in that 13th, maybe 11th position. We think Vincent Isabella is just coming off pit road right now. So he might get another spot there if he can catch up to him in time. But I'm sure that 90 car is just not quite driving the same as it was at the beginning of this race. And that's got to be frustrating.
Check this out, Goody. I'm looking at the live times right now. Johnny Eckert turning a 2:14.02. And our leader, Cameron Rich, last lap was 2:12.37. So did he plateau? Or is he saving a little something? Because he has closed, since we started talking about him, the last lap, he has gained 6 seconds on our leader.
I'll tell you what, though. Also, remember, our leader went down pit road. So you need to account for the time of Cameron Rich, not the leader.
I'm looking at right now, and Cameron Rich turning a 2:12, Johnny Eckert turning a 2:14. So,
yes, however, the majority of the drivers in between them are running lap times like 2:18, 2:15, 2:14. So Johnny Eckert, with all that damage, is actually running faster than the majority of the drivers in front of him. he's got top 5, top 10 pace. You know what he also has, or he doesn't have in this case, he doesn't have a cooling issue.
Yeah, no, that thing's getting a lot of air in the front of that radiator, and that's the thing. I think if he had, before that hit to the wall, he would probably be pretty close to those 212s, maybe 213s, 211s. Yeah, he'd be in that ballpark. As we usually see him dominate these road courses in the OSCA series. And there you see one clean car. Is that Minnesota Wild? Capuano sideways.
Oh,
Ooh, out of the corner, able to save it. Oh man!
I was running in the
Right
90s for a little bit.
Ooh, he's right in front of Neil Rutt, and that is trying to battle to stay in the top 20. And some of these cars, you see, surprised how many clean cars like Carlson in that 18 we see out there. See Dylan Gooden, a little bit of damage, kind of a rough night for him. In the Landon Castle Motors Chevrolet.
Goody, in every form of racing, pride is one of the main reasons why we do it. What type of, is it bragging rights these guys are running for? Is there prize money at the end of it? Or are they just running for a batch of Mrs. Goodies goodies?
They get a hug from me.
Yeah, see, they get a hug from Carlos. A lot of pride. I think this year was the first year in that they did have to pay an entry fee. So I think there is some sort of prize. Do not know the exact number off the top of the hat, but we've seen past winners like Kynan Jones, David Westergreen, these guys that kind of maybe mid-pack guys such as myself that were able to come here in the OSCA series and get wins, and you've seen just the pride, the excitement to finally get a league win. And I think it's that old adage, you could put the prize of $1 out there to win a race, and they'll go for it. They'll race like Dale Earnhardt, back in the 80s. They'll be driving through the grass, banging fenders, and we see that on a weekly basis, dirt tracks and short tracks all across this great country of ours.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you make a big fortune or how do you make a small fortune in racing?
No!
Is you start with a big one. Oh, wow.
Capuano heavy into the outside wall right in front of Rutt, and I think they're all able to keep going. I can't believe that 21 car's still moving.
Wow, no kidding.
And he's driving away like, nothing happened.
Exactly. What? That's not how you get through that corner?
Yeah, right. And Capuano, I'm sure he wanted to see a little bit more TV time, but that's usually not the way you'll quite want to get it. But
sponsor trouble or something like that.
Here's a replay.
A little more TV time.
Side by side with Dylan Gooden.
Dylan Gooden, the 75. That's kind of oh.
I don't know if they made a little contact there, just slightly. And around they go, able to keep going there as we see. That's probably the craziest part because he hit that wall. Pretty good clip.
Yeah, he smoked that wall. Wow.
But I think you're saying Dylan Gooden, one of the most beautiful classic cars there, kind of pays homage to the old Wood Brothers scheme.
Yeah, throwback to the Morgan Shepherd number 75.
Yeah. Oh. I think Rutt did get a little bit of the damage there as we are closing in a little over 2 laps to go. We'll be coming to 2 laps to go this time by. Indelicato now back 11 seconds, almost 11 and a half seconds to Cameron Rich. So, I don't know what the difference was to half 1, half 2, but Cameron Rich has really flipped the switch and he is setting sail here.
I tell you what, going back and looking at Johnny Eckert, Cameron Rich, his last lap time, 2:13.04. Johnny Eckert, his last lap time, 2:13.97. So Johnny Eckert coming on strong, and the lap times in between there are significantly slower. 2:14.72, 2:14.58, 2:15.85, 2:18.03 for Dylan Thomas. That was his last lap. So Johnny Eckert somehow on the wheel, cowboying up, making something happen. Does he have it? He is 2-time defending champion. and it's showing right now. That is heart, grit, determination. Any adage that you want to put it. You know, Goody, 5 years from now, iRacing, everybody's going to be wearing haptic feedback suits, so you're actually going to be able to feel the G-forces and everything that's going on with these cars. And in fact, there are setups out there. I saw one, I almost bought it in Knoxville, that they said they gave me a hell of a price on it. Take it home with you. It was an actual dirt late model built for iRacing. It reacted. It had shocks. It actually, and if you blew the engine up, if you over-revved the engine, smoke came out of the hood. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen similar ones at Eldora where you can get you feel like the corners that kind of move you up and down. You know, it's just like you get that seat of pants feel, and I think that's a lot of what some of these guys are missing. I think we've seen when the pro drivers done it. Jimmy Johnson struggled because he didn't have that seat of pants feel. But there's ways, if there's a will, there's a way you can get one. And I believe the cheapest one on Amazon is about $3,000. But yeah, you can see.
You don't want that one.
Local dirt track. Yeah, you probably don't. That's cheap compared to what some of these setups are. And yeah, we're hitting the white flag here for Cameron Rich. And actually, what got me into iRacing was going to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and then them having this kind of similar setups in the old Gen 6 cars. And I remember they had the fastest laps. I set a top 10 time all day, so I'm like, man, I got to try this. But then I realized, little Johnny that's 4 years old, it doesn't have a computer.
Can't be talking about little Johnny here.
Yeah, not quite as fast as guys like Cameron Rich, who was setting sail and looking like he's going to get his first win in his first race here of the 2022A season.
Talking about that exact same thing when I was down at Speed Weeks at East Bay. I thought I turned a pretty decent lap, and then 2 8-year-olds went right after me and just cleaned my clock. And
Dewar going around.
Uh-oh.
Go back up right in front of Indelcado.
Yeah, stop.
Now he's got a gap to straighten it out, get her back going. Finish that race in that 32 memory lanes Ford. But right now, Cameron Rich having no trouble. It looks like no traffic ahead of him either. It looks like, again, as we see Indelcado last half, he's got smooth sailing ahead for him.
Exactly. It's looking at the gap here. It's really interesting to see the lap times versus what the gaps are, and now Johnny Eckert turned a 2:14.39 his last lap. Cameron Rich turned a 2:14.91 for his last lap. So Johnny Eckert running at the same pace that your leader's running with a completely damaged car back in 13th. But Cameron Rich continuing to show the way. Last lap, Nick Indelcado back quite a ways as well. Interval 6 is about 2 seconds between their last laps. So
here we see Cameron Rich. He's going to hit the finish line here. We get it right. I think we're going to get right this time here. He's going to cross the line. Cameron Rich comes home with half number 2, the win. And so the streak for Indelcado ends, but a second place run, another strong run for that 7, the Mohawk Foundation. Got to be proud tonight, seeing their car finish second. And then Tyler Fody looks like he'll come home in the 3rd position in that all matte black Chevrolet, filling in for I think Fat Racing. Fat and Sad. There's Fat and Sad Racing out there teams, and together they combine the Depression Racing Network. There we see the 6, James Watson. Another strong run, coming home 4th. Seth Rawls 5th. Chad Fernquist, we've seen him pit early, get off the racetrack. He's going to come home in the 6th position. And how about Kyle Carlson, another strong half as well. He's going to come home 7th. And Dylan Thomas gained a few spots from half number 1. He's going to come home 8th. Should be crossing the line here in just a second. Or he did, yeah, he did cross. Oh, yeah, that's the second start for it. Now I just got confused myself. And then we see Damian Leininger has Vincent Isabella just behind him, but it looks like he'll hold him off. finish 9th. Vincent Isabella will round out the top 10. And that leaves my hand, another Mohawk Foundation Ford. DJ Weeks and there, Johnny Eckert just crossed the line. He'll come home in 13th. Ray Bracey filling in for Osborne in that Beers Motorsports Toyota. Let's say we did have Austin Beers out here, the old short track kid. We do have a NASCAR wheel and modified racer, Ben Austin Beers. So if you ever get to check them out, gotta look out for the name Austin Beers, young kid out of Pennsylvania. There you see Robert Hill Jr., Adam Tepe.
Goody, I just read on Facebook that our high school alma mater won tonight, and so they advance to sectional finals, I believe. So one game away from state, Medford boys basketball.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I watched the game last Friday night, buzzer beater, and it was really confusing because I didn't know there wasn't a shot clock in high school. And
Wait, what?
Either. Yeah, or at least maybe up north we might do it a little different than you do, Carlos.
Yeah. Yeah,
What are you trying
there's
to
no
say?
shot clock in Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Association sports. I don't know. It was still a good game. I watched it at the Medford Curling Club for the alumni when I was there for the alumni bonspiel. I didn't curl, but I certainly drank like it.
Oh yes, in Wisconsin, that's the only way to curl is to.
Pretty sure that's universal.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, I guess I haven't seen it anywhere else. But
Cameron Rich putting on a show. Nick Delgado coming back in second place. Tyler 43rd. James Watson, name we didn't talk about too much throughout the broadcast, in fourth. Seth Rawls 5th. Chad Fernquist coming back in 6th. Kyle Carlson in 7th. Dylan Thomas 8th. Damian Leiniger in 9th. And rounding out your top 10, Vincent Isabella. So, Goody. And Carlos, first off, this is one for the resume for me. Thank you very much for having me on board tonight. I had a lot of fun. I really didn't know what to expect here calling an iRace. Something I've always wanted to try doing. I had a blast. Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome back anytime. We do have interviews if you want to.
I'm sticking around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Glad to join us. And usually I'm by myself. We have a couple drivers that fill in, so welcome back anytime. But now we'll bring in the guy who finished 3rd in half number 2, and that's going to be Tyler Fody. And Tyler, I call you Mr. Raw Talent. You showed it out here tonight, kind of filling in for Steven Schumann tonight. But, man, it had to be tough with Indelcato and Rich in the field here. Do you have anything for him if things played out a little different?
Yeah. If I had a little more practice, I think I kind of got a late call to this that the guys needed someone to run for Schumann. So I was running home. I think I got like 15, 20 minutes left in practice when I joined the session here. So maybe if I had a full session and had known a little earlier, I might have been in the same ballpark, but I don't want to take anything from them. Those guys were on rails tonight, it seemed, especially at a track like this. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, how difficult was it, especially with that limited practice? How hard was it to get the feel for this track? We talk about the elevation changes, the hard braking, those corkscrew S's that had to be pretty wild.
Yeah, well, I've been on this track one time before. It was like a Bathurst 1000 or something endurance race in the V8 supercars. So I was familiar with the track. Just took a little bit getting used to these heavier, slower cars, the braking points and everything.
Yeah, and able to still get 2 top 5s tonight. And again, we haven't seen you here in OSCA series action. Do we expect any more fill-in roles for you?
Well, I'm pretty busy with the other league going on, but if they do need me, especially at a road course or something like this, I always like popping in, especially with these wild combinations. It's pretty fun.
A wild combo indeed. But again, congratulations on the 2 top 5s. We didn't see any sponsors on the car here tonight running that classic flat black scheme, but any
that
shout outs you
look.
want to give? Ben loved it up here in the booth, by the way.
Yeah. No, just shout out to everyone at the Sad and Fat Racing group over there at Fernquist, Vincent, Westergreen, Adam. Yeah, no, it was fun talking with him. I'm sure I'll be back maybe for a race or two. Maybe get a little more practice. We'll be up there with the front guys.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you back here very soon. Ben, do you have anything for Tyler before we send him off?
Well, they don't call me the best color man in the game for nothing. I got nothing. Congratulations, Tyler. A heck of a night for you. Again, I loved the look of your car, that flat black. We had a little debate as to whether or not that was carbon fiber or matte black. But clean looking car. Heck of a night tonight. You got to be pretty proud of your performance with the limited amount of time that you had coming in here and getting in 2 top 5s, podium finish. Pretty happy with your performance. A lot of these cars with a fixed setup, though, they've got the balance. You know, you have to balance your car.
Right.
So, and you can't do it by way of setup. You got to do it on your steering wheel with your gas and brake pedal. How much were you working your feet over and your shifting lever throughout the night to try and find that balance and trying to find the best way around this racetrack?
Yeah, that was it was pretty rough early on, not gonna lie. That first run, my feet are a little sore too with all the back and forth there. Honestly, kicking it out a little bit, it was almost faster a little sideways because it got really tight if you just let it sit there. So it's kind of playing with it here and there. The first half, I think I qualified 10th, and it took a few laps. But after that, we got up to 4th, and then pretty much sat there the whole second half, second heat, and was fortunate with Eckert spinning out to get this 3rd. So it was fun. I enjoyed the setup and the track combo.
Yeah, interesting one indeed. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Obviously, anytime you get behind the wheel, you pick up some knowledge. And you said you're busy in other racing leagues. What's your biggest takeaway from tonight's events that you can apply in other events?
Yeah, well, getting out on a road course with the stock cars is always good to mix it up. You know, find the limits. I'm pretty handy with the ovals, I think, so not much to take away from that. But tonight specifically, I think going forward with some more road courses, it'll be fun applying everything tonight to those.
Yeah, especially those corkscrews had to be quite a test indeed. But again, congratulations on the 2 top 5s and got that podium finish in half number 2. And hopefully we'll see you back out there again and right back up here for some more interviews at some point from here to the end of the season.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right, have a good one, Tyler.
Yeah, you too.
That was Tyler Fody. And next up, we'll bring in the winner of half number 1. And then half number 2 just unable to get it done. It's Nick Indelcato. And Nick, you gave that Mohawk Foundation Ford another good run, but not quite enough. What was the difference there? It seemed like, I don't know if it was Cameron Rich, seemed like he really turned it on in the second half. Did the track change a whole lot from half 1 to half 2?
I wouldn't say it changed. It was, to be honest with you, yeah, Cameron turned it on. I knew him and, unfortunately Eckert wrecked, but, I know those guys were going to learn a little bit more about the track, and it was going to be a lot more even. But I feel like, track position, clean air was key, and he got out in front, and he just gapped me early. After the pit stops, I tried something, didn't work, but I think I gained 2 seconds on him, and, I almost thought, I had a chance there coming to the end, but, I ended up hitting the wall and lost all that time. But, nothing's changed. Rich just had a great race.
Yeah, Rich was on point here in half number 2, but you're still 75% so far here in the 2022 A season, so nothing to shake a stick at. And your worst finish in second, so you're still pretty good average finish to start off your season. But going forward, we've seen you here in action the last 2 weeks. Are there any more fill-in roles for you as well that we've seen, like Fody fill in tonight for Schumann, and you're filling tonight as well?
Yeah, the last the last 2 races at Las Vegas, which I ended up winning in, I filled in for the 10 car, and That was really good. But now I'm going to be filling in almost every week. You know, if something comes up, I might miss a race here and there. I'm not championship eligible, but every week in the 7-car, I will be here racing for Shift Esports. So that'll be fun. Like I said, it won't count for championship eligibility, but, you know, I'm here for wins anyway.
Racing for wins. You know, we talked about, because this is my first time ever calling an iRace, I was curious as to what was prize money, bragging rights, all that stuff. Walking away from tonight's events, tonight's racing, parked it the first time, still a podium finish second time. Tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up. You got to be pretty proud of your efforts overall. Throughout tonight, what is your... I asked the same question to Tyler Fody. Because you are responsible to find the balance in your car with these fixed setups, you got to be elbows up, cowboy up the entire time going around these road courses. And how long did it take you to adapt to that balance? Apparently not that long. But what is your biggest takeaway from tonight going forward?
Yeah, I mean, you really do have to, you know, with the stock cars, you have to get up on the wheel. It's really, you have to be aggressive at all times, but you also have to be calculated. You know, we saw Eckert make the mistake, and Eckert was, if not, you know, even better than me on the early runs. But you have to get up on the wheel, and you have to drive your hardest, but you have to be smooth with it. You know, learning road courses, I wouldn't say I've even learned road courses when it comes to stock cars. I kind of just... You know, as it went on, you know, I progressively got better and learned what not to do. But yeah, I mean, they're a ton of fun, and every time we go to a road course, I always look forward to it. And I know Cameron Rich does as well. Me and him always have great battles.
Yeah, you know, I might be asking here for little secrets. You know, Monday night, you know, in the OSCA series, I was just trying to stay out of your guys' way, and maybe talk about, you know, sometimes that mindset. You know, at least people tell me that you almost got to back it up, almost slow down to go fast. And I know that's kind of a hard thing. Kind of like you said, you have to be on that edge, but you also got to be balanced and smooth. And I think that's maybe some of the biggest keys that you could take away. I don't know if you can elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how it is for some people, but, you know, during this race, there's points where you have to trust the car. I think it was... at the top of the hill, it's the downhill left, right, and then it's the really tight section. But the car just slides, and you have to hope it catches itself. So this track, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say keys, but there's a lot of points where you have to know what you're doing to not mess up. But, you know, road courses in general, you have to, like you said, go slow to be fast. Sometimes you can rip it around corners, and that's what I did in OSCA last week. And I unfortunately finished second to Cameron because he saved his tires. But there's a lot of ways you can go about it. You know, some people do better running hard. Some people do better running slow.
Yeah, and obviously you had almost like that perfect balance. We've seen you slipping and sliding around that track as well all night tonight. But with that, Nick, you got the one victory, another second place finish. Any shout outs you want to give out there before we send you off and celebrate an awesome night?
Yeah, no, shout out to Shift Esports. We're a growing team, and, you know, I love everybody on our team. We're a great group of friends, and, you know, we try to be competitive every week. So I'm happy to be back racing for them in the 7-car in this series, and then OSCA on Monday nights. But our main sponsor, Mohawk Foundation, please go check them out on Twitter. They are a great organization, and, you know, it means a lot to me. Shout out to my mother. I know she doesn't watch these races, but it's, I think, 4 years to the day she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and 2 years since she has been cancer free. So foundation means a lot to me, and, you know, they're a great cause. So go donate to them. And shout out to Seth Rawls, who was in this race, who makes all of our great paints.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome indeed, especially about your mom. That's pretty cool, pretty inspiring story to hear indeed. But again, congratulations on a solid night, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week, Darlington. Before I send you off, what do you feel about Darlington next week?
Say, you know, it's not a bad track for me. I love 1.5 miles. So I don't think that is 1.5 miles exactly, but it's one of my better tracks. It's hard to drive. That's what I love. So it's going to be a hell of a race next week.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you out there again, and hopefully we'll get you right back up here next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
You bet. Nick Indelcato, winner half number 1, second in half number 2. Next up is the man who took home the checkered flag in half number 2. And Cameron, we know you're fast here on these road courses. We called you the road course ringer here tonight, but you really showed it here in half number 2. What was your secret?
Not doing what I did in half number 1 there. Turn 2, I kind of forgot to turn, and y'all probably saw me hit the wall real hard.
Oh yeah.
So the car after that it turned really, really good in one direction and really, really not good in the other. So
yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, it was making a lot of speed there in those right-hand corners though. So I was actually able to catch those top 2 just a little bit, and I hit it again later on in the race, and it just really kind of killed it there. So, but race 2 was pretty good. I was able to get the jump off of turn 1 that I actually was trying to get off of race 1, and just kind of got up there in the lead and hit my marks. That's really all you can do at Bathurst. Just hit your marks and hope to not die. I think
Cameron,
Johnny did behind me.
Cameron, I love that answer. What was your strategy in the second race? To do the exact opposite of what I did in the first race. that first off, that's great. Secondly, you talk about hitting your marks. Nick Delgado said you got to be both aggressive and calculated at the same time. Balance is up to you in these cars with the fixed setup. Your takeaway coming out of this event, heading into next week, what do you got?
Well, I'm not scheduled for next week, but I really enjoyed the league, so I might take up an offer to run a few more races here. So that'd be pretty cool. Just came on here for like a little promoters option from got invited from over from OSCA. But I really enjoyed the league, so definitely would like to try out a few more events. I really love this Xfinity car. I think it's the pinnacle of stock car oval racing on iRacing right now. Definitely one of the better things to race.
So I got to ask you, Cameron, you're probably one of the best road course drivers, maybe in our little iRacing circle that the guys I've raced against. And maybe talk a little bit about that, hitting the marks, especially in this car combo. I think we've talked a lot about that Bathurst Xfinity car, stock car, not generally a combo that's well known out there. Vic throwing this race together a little bit different. How tough was it to race this grizzly bear around this track?
Definitely was something different. Bathurst, I think, is just one of the best road courses in the world. I would totally want to go there one day and just experience it for myself. But I ran the 12 hours a little bit, a couple weeks or months ago, whenever that was, and just got a lot of laps here. I love this track. I run the 12 hours every single year. It's one of my favorite races, and just with the Xfinity car on this track, it's just going to change so much every single lap. You really just have to keep up with how those tires are going to lose grip every single lap, and adjust your driving style. Be ahead of the car before it starts to get a little bit sideways or whatever. You saw a lot of guys tonight, really at the top of the hill, the car would want to jump sideways, rear end would step out from under you. You just have to anticipate things like that, and it just comes with experience. I can really credit just all the laps I ran around Bathurst for how I was able to run tonight.
So how much transitions from, say running a V8 sports car or some other GT car around this track? What can you take away? What changes or what kind of stays the same?
It was a lot more similar than I thought it would be. Braking zones were a little bit the same. Of course, GT, you have all the downforce and brakes that actually do things that, they actually work. But braking zones are still kind of the same because you have so much more power in the stock cars than you do in GT, so it all kind of equals itself out. And just, of course, Nick was right. Especially at this track, really, you do have to be aggressive and calculated because each corner is really so much different from the last. To be able to string together a whole lap is a lot of just different corners and different different styles of driving one part of the track to the other, and even those have to change lap to lap. So it's really fun, and I'm glad I was able to get the win tonight.
Next week OSCA is going to Darlington. The Lady Too Tough to Tame, but it almost seemed like Bathurst is almost like the Darlington equivalent of road courses. You're almost racing generally on road courses, you're racing the racetrack over the competitors around you, but it seemed like a little bit more so tonight. It had to be the passing zones here. It seems like it's few and far between.
Definitely. And Darlington, I love that track too. I think that's another one of my favorite oval tracks. I'm gonna have to see if Rack Racing has a spot open for next week. See if we can maybe set something up there.
Yeah, gotta be nudging Vic in the ribs to try to get you fill and roll in there somewhere. Hopefully, we'll see you back out here in OSCA competition very soon. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you at Darlington next week. That'd be great. But before we send you off and let you celebrate your win, any shout-outs you want to give?
Well, no sponsors tonight, but I want to thank just you guys here at Throw It TV always for being awesome and amazing. Carlos, of course, always works his butt off, so always a good shout out to him. I don't know if you picked me to win tonight, Carlos, but if you did, I hope I was able to.
I picked you to hit the wall, to be the first one to hit the wall turn one, and.
Okay, well,
Hey.
there you go. Either way. But really, just I want to thank Vic for bringing me over and letting me race this race. It was really fun, and lastly, my fiance for being amazing and tune in each and every week, watch these things.
Yeah, gotta have that support system. But again, congratulations tonight for Cameron Rich, and hopefully, we'll see you back out here, and have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations. Have a good night.
Cameron Rich, winner of half number 2, and with that, Ben, interviews are concluded. You got your first iRacing announcing gig in the book. How did it feel?
Well, I tell you what, anytime I'm on the microphone with a friend, and especially with the amount of history that you and I have, it honestly is just like putting on your favorite pair of shoes. And you just apply I've just applied the knowledge. I think this is, I've called one blacktop race in my entire life. Otherwise, it's been all dirt for the last 24 years. And, but you just, racing in and of itself is a lot similar than what a lot of people think. So you just apply the knowledge you have. And I had a lot of fun, Goody. I really did. Thank you for the opportunity. And Carlos, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm very happy to be here, and I hope to be back down the road.
Yeah, welcome back anytime. Certainly had a fun time here tonight. I was trying to look through the schedule. It usually had a dirt race. I don't see one on the schedule, but get more of that asphalt experience out here. As always, entertaining racing, and hey, no one with more experience than you. So come back right here to 3 Wide TV, and again, you as well out there watching and listening. Come back right here next Thursday night as these boys head to Darlington, the track too tough to tame. But until next time, for Ben, Carlos, I'm Mike. Y'all have a good night.